Hello, and welcome to the modules for instructional strategies for world geography. This is Module 1, Physical Geography. Allow me to take a quick moment to introduce you to these modules. The main purpose of the module is to change the way we approach social studies education. We want teachers and students to take a new, fresh look at the study of geography, going a little bit away from the traditional place name geography to a more robust look at the world, examining trends, patterns, and connections between places. For this module, we will be looking at creating a geographic information system. The purpose of this activity is to have students create maps and overlay them in order to determine and explain how the physical geography has impacted settlement patterns in various locations and predict or propose future settlement patterns based on their observation. The enduring understanding that we will touch on include human-environment interaction. The student will understand that humans, their societies, and the environment affect each other, and location, which states the student will understand that location affects a society's economy, culture, and development. The Georgia Standards of Excellence associated with this is Social Studies World Geography Standard 1, which states explain why physical characteristics of place such as landforms, bodies of water, climate, and natural resources act as contributing factors to world settlement patterns. We will also be looking at Social Studies World Geography's Substandard A, or Element A, which states identify and describe climates and locations of major physical features of North America. Explain how these physical characteristics impact settlement patterns, including, but not limited to, the Mississippi River system, the Appalachian and Rocky Mountains, and the Canadian Shield. So to walk you through the process, the first thing we're going to have the students do is identify the physical characteristics of North America. Then we will look at the population concentrations as well as climate regions throughout this portion of the world. The teacher may also decide to use additional resources, but I will not touch on those at this particular moment. The next step will be to combine this data in a way to create their own geographic information system, or in other words, their GIS. And this will enable them to analyze the data that they have collected and determine patterns, and therefore use this information to predict future possibilities. The culminating activity, or what would bind all of this together, is that we're going to have the students create some type of informational commercial describing the impact of physical geography, or that physical geography has had in the distribution of settlements, and propose a new settlement area in North America based on the data that they have collected. So just a quick explanation of this process. This initial data collection helps the student to understand the importance of research. It also demonstrates to the student what geographic information systems are and how they can be used, or how they can use them. And I always refer to my students that they use Google Maps, and how that is nothing more than a geographic information system. Much of this data collection revolves around our depth of knowledge level 1, in which the students are just transferring information from one place to another. So going back, the first step the student will need is obviously to be handed a blank or an outline map, and use either a text or web resource to be able to identify what the physical geographical characteristics of North America are and where they are located. If you are unable to have a text resource or blank outline maps, a great place to go is at www.eduplace.com. And once you're at the website, if you look down towards the bottom right, you will see outline maps. Once you click on that, you can also select North America, and select North America either with countries or with no labels. I usually prefer the no labels. Now, these maps are completely free for you to print and reuse them, as long as they're being used for classroom purposes only. And as you can see, this map is a blank map of North America which will allow the students to accurately illustrate where the major physical characteristics are of this portion of the planet. Once the students have labeled the major geographic areas, it is time for them to overlay that with information about population. The next step would be for students, as I mentioned, to identify the most populated regions in North America by collecting data from different sources. These locations will be marked on a map along with the physical characteristics. One of the best and most interesting websites that I've found to be able to show this information is by going to NationalGeographic.Org. And once you're at the website, from the top, if you select the center tab that says What We Do, and then select Maps on the right, it will take you to a section which has a numerous amounts of different types of maps and mapping programs. If you scroll down a little bit on the right side, you should see a map that says population density. This interactive map uses dot distribution to represent the amount of the population at any given area. As we can see, when we look over into North America, you can clearly see that over by New York, Philadelphia, and Washington up to Boston is one of the most densely concentrated areas in the United States. Same could be said about scrolling down to Mexico City, where you can see the darker shades of red indicate a larger population. There are also several other features that the students can play with on the side to add to their understanding of this particular concept. The third map will be constructed based on climate data. In trying to use the best sources, I once again refer you to NationalGeographic.Org. Follow the same basic steps by clicking What We Do tab, going to Maps, scrolling down, and on the right side you will see a map that says Climate Zones. Of course, one of the things I did not mention, on the right side you can click on Legend, which will tell you what the different colors on the climate map indicates. They can also change the base map if they wish to see things a little bit differently. They want to see the oceans, or if they want to make sure, they can click on the topographical map and they can see some of the major landmarks and where they're located to give them a better sense and a better direction to how to create their own maps. Once these different maps have been created, have the students look at the different maps to identify any patterns that they might see. Students should identify if any correlations exist between climate and geographical feature and areas with highest or lowest population concentrations. Students should identify if any correlations exist between climate and geographical features and areas with highest or lowest population concentrations. A great instructional strategy that I have used with my students to analyze this is by using a Venn diagram. As you can see, I would have placed the 3 largest cities in North America, and the students can begin to describe what they find and come within each of these different cities. This comparing and contrasting elevates this activity to a level 2 in Webb's depth of knowledge. Now that the students have successfully collected and analyzed their data, the next and final step would be to use this data and the maps created to produce some type of informational commercial describing the impact physical geography has had in the distribution of settlements and propose a new settlement area in North America. There is a lot of room for the teacher to differentiate with their students, as this can be based on how the students wish to present this information or you, the teacher, may choose to assign different methods based on the needs of students. I have always found that some type of informational commercial was fun and the students did enjoy coming up with those, but tailoring this lesson to your own individual students would also be easily done. The depth of knowledge level at this point of the activity would be a level 3, as the students are required to make connections through their inference of data obtained through their research. And lastly, here are a couple of the links to the direct web page where some of the different maps I have used in the past. And thank you.